My name is Jackson, aka the Big Unit. Some of you know me as the guitar repair guy. Some of you know me as the lead singer, guitarist, and songwriter for the heavy metal band Shatterbone. Some of you know me as an electrical educator. Some of you know me as the guy with the crazy guitar collection. Some of you know me as a die-hard Raiders fan. For years, I have been playing, collecting, and working on guitars and spending all my free time doing stuff with guitars. But now, I'm building guitars. Okay, so now we are going to start sanding the edges to try and get them somewhat smooth and get some of these rough spots smoothed out and all that, so then I can start working on rounding over the edges. Alright, well, at this point, I think I have everything done up to sanding and finishing. So, time to start the sanding process. I did a little bit of sanding already. But yeah, now we're going to get to the point where we've got it finished sanded down to perfectly smooth. I'm going to go over it with 120, and then I'm going to move up to 240, and we're going to get this knocked down to the point where it's ready to start doing the grain filler. And I am going to be using Aqua Coat grain filler. I've seen a couple guys use this. It seemed to have really good luck with it. So, but first, before we do that, we need to make sure this thing is about near perfect, so we don't have any other issues going forward, because every little thing, I mean, from everything I've watched people say and stuff like that, every little thing you miss now is going to rear its ugly head the further down the line you get. So we just want to make absolutely sure we've got this sanded as good as we can get it. No discernible feeling on the seams, no glue that's still a little bit scuffy, you know, I don't know what the word is, a little bit proud of the joint, things like that. And make sure we knock down any of the sharp edges, because paint doesn't like to stick to sharp edges. It needs just a little bit of a round over. So, I'm going to start out with 120 grit to go over this. I'm going to give it a good once over all the way around, make sure I get anything that's still noticeable knocked down. Then we're going to do a really good visual inspection here, use a light to see if I can illuminate any spots where there's a discrepancy or a sanding scuff that I missed or anything like that. Move on to 240. We'll go over it with 240 just to make sure that we didn't leave any drag marks from the 120. And then we will look at doing the grain fill. Wipe it down good, and then we'll do the grain fill. So, normally I'm not super concerned with the dust mask thing and stuff like that, but I don't know. I'm feeling like maybe today is not a bad idea to do that, so I'm gonna just wear my dust mask today. Alrighty, so here we go. Yep.
One eternity later.
Now, I don't know, that thing said wipe it down. Where'd it go? Ah. Okay, well, like banging the erasers together. Some of you who are watching this are way too young to know that reference. Okay, well, I think the fastest method of doing this is just going to be hook up the damn air compressor and blow it off, so.
Okay.
Alright, so I have sanded it to 220, 240, and I hit it with the air compressor to blow it off. Now I'm just going to wipe it down with a tack cloth to try and remove any sawdust that I might have missed with wind. Now, I got some plastic paddles that are fairly flexible, and I think those will work nicely for applying
Oh, I'm sorry.
my grain filler.
Got any empty drawers over there? Put them in there.
I'll find where they're at right now. I'm going to need them again. Alright, so it says on here that you're supposed to sand it to 220, remove all dust, apply generously and with pressure against the grain. Okay.
I thought green filler was sawdust.
No, that's wood filler. Yeah, great big shout out to Goth Rider. Good friend of mine, Goth Rider Creations. Go watch his channel if you haven't yet. But yeah, he learned the hard way on his build recently that using wood glue and sawdust as grain filler is a very bad idea. I'm really glad that he learned that before I did. Thanks for taking a bullet for the team there, buddy. But yeah, holy cow. He went through hell trying to sand that all back. So that looked miserable. Yeah, that's not a good idea. I mean, it's great if you want to fill a screw hole or something like that, but trying to use glue and sawdust as a grain filler, not a great plan.
You live and learn.
I'm glad he lived that one and learned, because yeah, if that would have been me, it would have been a whole episode of me beeping out swears, because oh man, I'd have been freaking livid. He's a good boy about swears. He doesn't swear much on camera, if at all. I would have lost my mind.
He seems real nice.
He's awesome.
I wonder if him and his wife and I would have anything in common.
I have no idea. I honestly don't know very much about Mrs. Gothrider. Okay. Alright, so I left the grain filler sit overnight. It dried pretty uneven, so I'm just gonna knock it back here, and then I think I might do one more coat of sanding sealer or one more coat of grain filler before I proceed with sanding sealer, just because I want to make absolutely sure I've got the grain all filled well. And I don't know, there's a couple of spots that still kind of look like maybe they didn't get it quite as good as I wanted it, so
Did you miss the spot there?
I'm gonna have to rub some of it in with a rag because I don't have a really good way of getting at it with the knife.
Well, those were definitely a good buy yesterday.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think this is all set up and everything now, the green filler, and I also think that I did a better job this time than the first attempt. It's in better shape, let's put it that way. The last time it clearly could feel a whole lot of unevenness, and I don't have that this time, so that's good. Now, the jar says that I'm supposed to now sand it with 320 grit or finer. Okay, so I have some 320 grit and I have a mousey, and I also got mousies for our anniversary because we've been married for 24 years next week. Believe that shit? She's put up with me for 24 years.
Well, you put up with me too, so. What's all that sandpaper?
It's sandpaper that came with it, but it's all rougher grit than I need right now.
Oh.
But hey, always use more sandpaper, so.
So on your other guitars, you didn't have to use this because you stained it, right?
Right?
So how did you get that smooth like it is?
Huh?
You didn't have to use that. I'm trying to remember how you got the ones you just did. So smooth.
I sanded all the way to 600 grit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I took a momentary pause while I blew this off with the air compressor, because you don't want to hear that. And now I'm just going to wipe it down good with a tack rag and make sure I got all the dust off of it before we proceed with sanding sealer. That's next.
What about a Q-tip?
No, I don't want any kind of cottony stuff that. How far in there is that now? Oh, that's good. Okay. So if I get that in there good. And then. In the end, I can pick it out of there with a tweezers.
You need to get the tip a little tighter.
Okay, so now we are getting all ready to spray the sanding sealer. Damn it. Okay. And we have to shake the sanding sealer because it's a rattle can. And I have bought a weapon for doing such things in a much more efficient manner. All right, PPE time. Probably not gonna say much to you here. You ain't gonna hear me. Look. Woo! Okay. Oh shit, you wanna get the power over to the fan? And then turn the fan on high. You gotta get it in the middle of the clicks. There you go. Here we go. So that's the first coat of sanding sealer. We're gonna let that sit and do its thing now. I do want to put a second coat of grain filler on this before I grain fill this. So
You mean before you...
Or I want to put a second coat of grain filler on this before I do the sanding sealer on it. Because I can still feel grain on the face of that.
No, you have to go against the grain, right?
If you go against the grain when applying it, and it says apply generously, and then you have to go with the grain to scrape the excess. Can you?
Did you get the top?
All right, well, I think we're probably gonna call that good for tonight. And I might tackle third coat and sanding it back a little bit and stuff like that without the camera tomorrow. Well, Mrs. Unit is at work because I am rapidly running out of warm days to do this. It's weird because it was just not that long ago that I was sitting here pissing and moaning and whining about it being too dang hot. And now the overnight hours are almost getting too cold for this. So yeah, and I got a feeling I'm going to lose friends, family, and pets adoration if I start doing this in the house. So that's not an option.
No, no, it's not.
So I think that is going to be it for tonight. Raiders are playing here shortly. That's what that was. And I must watch, because I only get 6 to 7 months of happy football season before then we go into the sad and depressing stretch without it. So I definitely want to watch while I can. And so does she.
Yep.
So thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of My Madness. Click like, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.